Where is he? Where is he?
It's football time!
It's football time! Come on! Yeah!
Hello and welcome to the Gooner Talk, back again with you guys for another episode of what is going to be a difficult show this morning because my throat is horrific. I'm joined, as you can see, by Mike. How you doing, Mike? You good?
No, I'm not good, but someone decided 8 a.m. shows are like a thing now. So how many straight days have you done an 8 a.m. show?
700 plus. I mean, I may have missed like the odd 3.
Well,
yeah.
that would have been an appropriate one to miss, but no, you don't do that.
Nope.
Because the Goonies, I believe, is what your local audience is. They deserve.
Yes, that's what they're called, the Goonies.
The Goonies.
The Goonies.
They deserve this.
Indeed.
I'm not sure even they deserve what's about to happen.
No, they don't. Good morning to everybody joining us live in the chat box. Thank you so much for doing it. Very much appreciate it all. And as you can see, I'm joined by Mike in his new place in Highbury. I mean, dream come true, right?
For you or for me?
I think you know the answer to the question.
Yes. This is not a video. This is not your, what is it, Max Headroom background that you used to have? This is
the green screen. Yeah.
This is real. Who do we have? Yeah.
You can see, yes, the snap stand. Which stand would that be?
That would be the clock end, and that you're looking at. Yes, what you're seeing is Arsenal's soul that we left here apparently.
Yeah.
20 some odd or 15 years. Yeah. 18 years ago.
Absolutely. Good morning, those joining us live. Scroll up to the top of the chat box. Amira, good morning to you, to Matt G, to Pika Who. We've got Aras Silky, Jalali, Glenn, Sweating Merlot, Shiv, NSW, Damien, Josh, Mr. Ree, Martin, and plenty more of you guys.
Sweating Merlot sounds like what we.
Sounds like what you drink a lot of, Sweating Merlots. In fact, you might be sweating Merlot right now.
I think that's kind of where the name comes from. I'm sweating something right now.
Of course, we're going to do this in our normal format. We're going to run through today's stories, and then we're going to go into part 2. And we're both going to tackle some of your questions as well. I love this from Drago. Yeah. What the heck is this? This is the greatest 8 a.m. show we've ever done, is what this is. So,
what the heck is this? Is what I'm going to call my new podcast.
That's the name. Yes, that's what I'm sure Mike Kurtz has probably got another podcast called that already. Let's jump into today's story, shall we? First of all, Victor Osimhen is going nowhere. According to Napoli director Meluso, when he was asked about any top players potentially like Osimhen leaving, he said, no way, absolutely not. Our squad is very good and we feel relaxed. Of course, we can improve it, but it will discuss this topic later. So Osimhen not going anywhere. I mean, I don't think there was any much chance of Arsenal bidding 100+ million quid in January, Mike, but it would have been great if it could have happened, but it's not going to.
Not only that, but when a club representative from a team in Italy says something, it's automatically true.
Yes.
So clearly he's not going. He's not even going. They have games in January. He's not even going to those. He's being imprisoned.
Yeah, I think that when there's a case of Osimhen potentially leaving, it's going to be in the summer, if at all. And if it is, it's going to be for a ridiculous figure that I don't think Arsenal. I can't see Arsenal spending 150 million pounds in the summer on one player, and especially because they've got needs in midfield. We're going to talk about other players that might need replacing a little bit later on. Right wing, competition for Bukayo Saka, again a centre forward as well.
Now, if it's Nketiah plus 20 million, then that's a different situation.
Yeah, arguably 130 million is what Nketiah is probably worth. Yes, that's fairly accurate. Yeah. Mikel Arteta, of course, did conduct his press conference yesterday as well, in which he discussed a number of topics, which we're going to run through. 2 of the major themes from that presser. Obviously, the big news of that press conference, sadly, was that we've lost Thomas Partey. Another few weeks without the player. We've already had him missing for a number of weeks already this season. Another huge blow.
Well, here's the thing. He does do well when he comes back. So we just keep wanting him to come back.
Yes.
Like every big game, Manchester City, great appearance off the bench. It was great to see him again. Didn't do so well for Ghana because he hadn't just come back from injury.
They lost 4-0 to you guys, right?
You guys.
I
that day it was us guys.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, he only does well when he comes back. Once he's back, he's not so good. So we just keep wanting him to come back. So, when he comes back, I don't know who it's going to be against, but
he's going to be great.
Oh, it's going to be amazing.
Yeah, and then he'll get injured again. And I think that creates the discussion around whether or not we should sell Partey because, and for me, and I wrote a piece about this yesterday, is that it was kind of like the final straw for me in the sense of we've lost him for these however many weeks it's going to be. We've already lost him before. And if you've got this asset, this place in your squad used up, in January, I would be looking to try and bring in a midfielder.
Yeah, bringing in a midfielder is one thing, but like I love how we think that the more he gets hurt, the more it makes sense to sell him. Like the more he gets hurt, the less we're going to be able to sell him. That's like me dropping a plate on the ground and it cracking into a million pieces and be like, I should really sell that plate because it keeps cracking. I mean, I don't need to make light of it because this is a big blow. But
yeah, it's a huge blow. It's massive. And I think that obviously it's going to put more pressure on Declan Rice. It's going to put more pressure on Jorginho to be fit. It's going to put more pressure on Edu and that in January to potentially go out and bring somebody in. The expectation is that he could be out for I guess a month until the next international break. And then I suppose this is quite a relatively okay period if he was going to be out for a month, because the most difficult game we've got is a trip to Newcastle. But around that, Burnley, obviously Sheffield United today as well. It's just frustrating. I think personally that a bigger blow, because we've got Declan Rice, is losing Gabriel Jesus. Again, a similar time frame that we might not have Gabriel Jesus for. And now, who do you think is going to come in? Do you think it's going to be Nketiah, or do you think we might see a Trossard or a Havertz?
I mean, a Havertz or a Havertz himself?
Ideally, him.
Yeah. The Havertzes of the world?
Yes, all of the Havertzes.
Yeah, the Havertz I think we've had this discussion before where, you can talk about the various merits of different people. You talk about Havertz's height in the middle. You could talk about, Trossard's almost unplayable style at times. But we know what Arteta does in these situations. And it's going to be Eddie Nketiah to at least to start the game. And I'm not saying that's a good thing or not, because I know how you feel that he's on the brink of being good enough for Arsenal.
Yeah. But he never will get there for me. I just don't think Eddie Nketiah is the answer to Arsenal's long-term problems. And look, I think that what he's done has gone well beyond what I had of expectations of, without a doubt. I never thought he'd become an England senior international. I never thought this guy would be turning around a scoreline against.
Apparently, neither did Southgate.
Apparently not. But I think that when it comes to the decision-making of the strikers, I'd like to see a Kai Havertz. I mean, a lot of people have suggested specifically Kai Havertz.
That is so journo-y.
Kai Havertz.
Yeah. The Kai Havertz is
yes, that's the way. That's the word. Journo-y.
Yeah.
I think
that my daughter was like, when I grow up, I want to be journo-y.
Journo-y, yes, slightly journo-ish. It's just slightly a journo.
Journesque.
I think when it comes to a player like Havertz, you've got the extra physicality, the height, the target man ability that we would get with him. But I know some people have suggested that maybe Trossard and Havertz should come in, and we should play Trossard into a midfield role, use Havertz at centre forward, and obviously with Partey out, that kind of makes sense, especially against the Sheffield United side, who we're probably expected to sit back and defend again.
Is that too clever by half? I don't have the bell with me. But if I did, that would have been
you come over here and you didn't bring the bell.
I used it.
Those that don't watch your pod are thinking, what on earth are they talking about?
Like, this guy's a bell.
Obviously, like when you come, and also not only that, but when you travel to a different country, sometimes your devices don't do what you want. Like, you might want to watch a video. Don't go into too much detail about what you're going to be watching, but you might want to watch a video that's not necessarily accessible.
Yes, that's true. And what happens is you just get your web browser just says, no, you cannot watch that from this location.
Location locked.
You see how I finally understood what you were doing?
Did you not?
I not at first, but now I do, because I would have understood it better if I had a browser that allowed me to view something that was geolocated and from a different location.
I wish that there was something that could do that.
I mean, you're going to have to someone like you should know, because when you come to visit an indigenous location where there is an internet available, you're going to need a product that gives you the flexibility to do that.
Well, there might be something that we can do to help, because NordVPN is a fantastic service which can, of course, change your geolocation digitally on your tablet, on your phone, on your laptop. It's just a brilliant thing to use. And if you're not using NordVPN right now and you're abroad and you really, really want to watch a video, or like I remember I was in France, I wanted to watch the Champions League highlights and I couldn't, and you might be over here and wanted to watch something based in the US and that you can't, because
if I wanted to watch Macaulay Culkin and what is the movie where
you're asking the wrong person.
Yeah. Well,
But
What, you guys are the same age, but no. Yeah, I mean that would be incredible.
and you can, and not only that, but I can give you a significant discount off a 2-year plan, and of course some extra months involved as well by going to nordvpn.com/Gooner.
Oh my God!
Okay.
And you know, I'm not suggesting anyone use this, but they appear to have a 30-day money back guarantee.
Yeah, like if you
And there's nothing I like more than getting my money back.
exactly, and if you don't like the service, it's the reason.
What I like better is being able to get my money back, but not taking advantage of that because the service is so incredible.
Exactly. And so I don't think you'd even need to get your money back. For the first time ever, Mike, you will not be asking for a refund. So without a doubt, this I think is the service for you. Anyway, let's go to part 2, guys, and your questions right after this. Okay, let's jump into the chat and avoid that question and go to somewhere else. Let's tackle some of your questions. I'm loving this from you guys. Whatever could they be talking about, says Amira. Good stuff.
Your audience does know you.
I know. I love this because, like, on audio, they're not even going to hear that bit because I edit that section of the show out for like, you know, because of crossovers of what's hosting and stuff. But I get messages from people that listen on Spotify like, what is the segue people are talking about?
I think Matt G needs some attention right now.
Yeah, Matt G, can Mike be on every show is his question. I mean, the answer is from a logistical standpoint and a moral standpoint, no. But it's great to have Mike on today's show. I'm glad that you got up.
Can he be on every show? Can he be on every show?
I don't know how you had the voice to sing after last night, to be honest. It's
Because I produce. I don't.
Where is the unicorn? Says Rance. It's a good question.
The unicorn has seen better days.
Was it deflated?
It's been very despite the fact that we still have yet to lose a game in the league this season. The unicorn has been deflated, and we're going to be buying a new one soon.
That's sad.
I wanted a special.
Was it after Chelsea? Did it feel deflated after the Chelsea game?
It felt deflated after it popped.
I don't want to know how it.
Yeah, you know.
The less said about that, the better.
This is not content for an 8 a.m. show.
No, really not. Do you appreciate that? How difficult it is to get up at 8 a.m. and after I've done this like 700 plus times?
Well, I think most nights you didn't go to bed at 4:30 a.m.
True, very true. To be fair, yeah, 4 hours sleep is not done me nicely. Zeb Boy says, "Are we going to the game?" Yes. I mean, different capacities. You're going to be there
sleeping.
I mean, that's fairly trendy for you, to be fair, sleeping at Arsenal games. But Mike will be there. I will be there working, but certainly it's going to be great. Let's go to Chris says, Tom, apparently your man Yusuf Fofana's contract expires in the summer. Have you been on the blower to Edu, and when are we signing him? Well, I don't know if it actually does expire in the summer if they've got an option, because what often happens is people look on Transfermarkt and it says that their deal is expiring and actually they have like an option to extend by a year. So I'd have to double check that. But I mean, how much have you seen of Yusuf Fofana? I'm sure you've made a dossier on him by now, right?
Yeah. I mean, I have the book.
Yeah,
I wrote it
of Yusuf Fofana.
Yes, I mean we have it up in the Highbury Library up there. Yeah. We have books on Arsenal's history and their future, and the
he features heavily in.
We have all the Fofana books.
Yeah, and there's a lot of Fofana.
Wesley, we've got David,
Seko. Yeah,
and then we've got all the juice.
Yeah, all the juice. Yeah, the juice. There's loads of juice. There's been loads of them. I know where your head's at. But thank you to Chris for the question. I'd love to see Yusuf Fofana arrive at Arsenal. I think I've made that fairly clear. I think he's a player that would add a lot as a box-to-box midfielder that offers loads going forwards. And I think obviously we saw in the Emirates Cup just how impressive he is as a player.
There's a guy for Bayer Leverkusen that's pretty good. He's a little bit over our age profile, but
maybe we need some experience.
Yeah.
I mean, you could argue. What's his name?
He's got good leadership. He's some rock guy.
Is it Xhaka?
Yeah.
I think that's who. I'm going to have to do a tactical breakdown on it. Yes, it says, can you do the Havertz song? No. I said I promised that I would do it if we won the league. So that was, no. Well, we did do it in the karaoke bar last night. To be fair.
I woke up in the morning after the Sevilla game in a hotel room in Spain I could not get that song out of my head.
Yeah, it's catchy. Matt G says, Tom, it's Mrs. Matt G's birthday today. Could you and Mike please give her a shout? Of course.
Mrs. G.
Mrs. G, which was my wife.
G, yeah. I mean, that's who you're referring to when you say G is expecting me home. Yeah, G's expecting me back home tomorrow. It's Mrs.
It's
G.
Mrs. G. Yeah, Mrs. Matt G, happy birthday. And we hope that you're a
Her name's
fantastic.
Matricia.
Matricia.
Yeah, Matricia.
Matricia G. Yeah.
Matricia G.
Love that. Vanadji says, not on this show, but can you get Mike to go through our finances as we have signed commercial deals, but only signed Raya on loan due to FFP? I mean, you say not on this show, but I feel like Mike's sitting primed and ready. Is there FFP restrictions on Arsenal?
No.
There's not. How sure are you? Very sure.
I'm as sure as
so
anything.
Why did we sign Raya on loan if there was supposed financial restrictions on that deal?
You know what? I don't know.
You don't know?
No.
And that's fine. You can sometimes just say, I don't know. It's an underrated answer to a question.
That's what I'm trying to promote honesty. And no, I've my spreadsheets have been on hold for the last 6 months. But yeah, it does. It was more about protecting against the potential of running into close than that if we if we didn't get the money that we needed for next season. But when we make the Champions League final, we will then sign him so that we can officially have the argument.
Would you sign him? Would you activate Raya's clause in his contract?
I don't think we have a choice. I think it's an automatic at this point.
Not as far as I'm aware. It's not obligatory, but there is an expectation, I think, from Brentford's side that we're going to activate it. But if I'm giving you the choice, would you activate the clause if you had to right now?
Yeah,
you would. See, I wouldn't right now. I'm kind of holding off and waiting to see. So because I think it's pretty much a sure thing that Aaron Ramsdale is going to be moving on, and as much as I hate that from a personal standpoint, as our good friend last night, whose voice might be doing even worse than ours. Yes, I can't wait to see Elliot later.
As he says, sometimes you got to kill your heroes, or no, kill your darlings.
Kill your hero.
Kill your darlings. And we're going to have to make some tough sales, and we have two keepers who are probably worth way more than we paid for them. And but that's a whole nother subject. I didn't expect to get into that. Thanks, Van of Duty, and thank you for actually making the presumption that I can talk intelligently on the subject.
Yeah, he clearly knows that you have some
not on this show though.
Apparently not. No, not this morning. Mike needs plenty more preparation for a type of show about that. Jimbo, seeing as we are in Highbury, what's your favorite Highbury moment?
I mean, for me, it was the entire 1988 to 89 season.
You got one moment.
The moment I walked into this place for the first time, fell in love with it, and then said, you know what? In 29 years, I'm going to meet a guy who isn't even born yet, who's going to change my life because of NordVPN.
I've edited that now.
I'm sorry.
That's fine. It's fine. YouTube will know. But no, I think for me, like, it's different because obviously I never came here during when it was in our playing days here, and so the connection obviously is different. And I was saying to you last night, like, even though the Emirates obviously is a place where I went to my first game, it's not a stadium that has like an emotional history yet, because we've not added Premier League titles. We've not done what I would say something special. I know the FA Cups that we've won there were great, but they don't hold the same weight as invincible seasons, and of course the amazing run in 89. So, and obviously, seasons where we went even just one game where we lost under George Graham. And these years at the Emirates hopefully will get that, and we'll start to have that connection. But yeah, I can't have that same emotion. But I look at the invincible season, and it has to be Thierry Henry's goal against Liverpool, where he just floors Jamie Carragher and scores. Like that is probably my favourite of that season specifically. What I would go to. So yeah, there you go. Boss says, are we still on for Chouameni? I mean, I saw this story yesterday. I saw the source. It's not the best. It's probably fair to say. But, he's a player that Arsenal certainly have watched from his time back in France, let alone before moving to Real Madrid. But why on earth he would leave Real Madrid to move to Arsenal when he plays plenty of games anyway? He's going to be the long-term replacement for your Krooses, your Modric's. That's what he's going to do. It's the way I talk. I can't help it. That's how it works.
The Modriches.
That's how it's said.
He's going to replace the entire family.
Yes, all the Modriches.
All the Modriches, all the Matt G's.
All the Matt G's.
He's going to be the Matt G's of the world, the wives of Matt G's of the world. Happy birthday.
Without a doubt. Bulgarian Gunners is on TC on a scale of 1 to 10. How much do you regret this decision? I don't regret it yet. I mean, you've been pretty well behaved so far, and I'm hoping he's going to keep doing that.
No, I think he means the decision of just being friends with me, not having me on the show.
Yeah. That's certainly what you might be asking. Daniel says, what solid contributors with Premier League experience can we target in January? Think of the next Trossard, Jorginho type. I'd love Mbuemo from Brentford. I mean, Pedro Neto is the player that comes to my mind immediately. I know that he did a couple of quotes yesterday and that came out, said he's very happy at Wolves, but players say that all the time.
And so do club representatives from Napoli.
Yeah, indeed, yes. So it might be that Osimhen leaves, but, I think that a Premier League player, it's difficult to find another Trossard for £27 million, for Jorginho for £12 million. I mean, I don't see. I know you says Mbuemo.
Sorry, do you still now? I mean, I remember when the Jorginho signing happened, and there was a lot of
comeback.
Have we now basically gotten our money worth from him?
Oh, without a doubt, yeah, without question. I think, and at the time I said, for 12
it's just that he wasn't Caicedo.
No, exactly. That's the whole point. He wasn't Moises Caicedo, and if you're not a £70 million player, you're not, and after we've kind of bid and gone at 60 and then 70, and you look like maybe Arsenal are going to do something special, and then you end up getting a £12 million. It's like Liverpool in the summer, thinking they're getting Jude Bellingham, and they end up with Endo, the Japanese guy from Stuttgart that they brought in. So I think that when it comes to that type of, I don't want to call it a downgrade, but it is a downgrade in some sense.
I think he was meant to be the transition from Partey to Rice. The only thing is, what I didn't see was also needing to replace Xhaka at the same time.
Yeah, of course. And I think that losing Xhaka will be looked back on as a frustration, because I really think him and Declan Rice as a partnership could have worked quite well. But we won't ever know what that would have looked like. Fuad says, Mike, I was wondering, would you like to see Arsenal have their own Hall of Fame enshrinement for past players like they do in the US sports to celebrate their contribution to the club?
I think why myself and most people like me and the Mikes of the world, and by that I mean foreign Arsenal fans who embrace the club and its traditions, we like it because it's different from U.S. sports. We don't want it to be more like U.S. sports, despite what people might generally think of us. I think the way we do it with statues, with the honors that are generally given to former players and managers is just fine. I think doing a Hall of Fame thing is we don't want this game becoming more American.
No, but you're right.
I can't believe I've just said that, but I'm not saying we don't want it to be accessible by Americans. I'm just saying
no, of course. But the Todd Bowleys of this world, another journalistic. I should have my own bell, journalism, niche quote. But the Todd Bowleys of this world want this to become a lot more like American sport.
Yeah, and I do think when you think about it, and whatever you think of KSE and the Cronkies, that they have not tried to. Other than the Super League thing.
Sure.
But that was not just them.
No, but it was kind of a jumping on the bandwagon with that.
Yeah.
It was a case of if this is going to happen, we can't not be in it. Yeah.
Well, I'd like to think that was the only impetus behind it, but, I mean, I don't think that they've tried to change the game, the style, the way that we run our club. They've tried to take the successful things out of their existing club. And we know that because Josh said that, we have kind of a formula we use with our other franchises, but
that's what they're called.
Yeah. So no, good question, Fuad. But I think the way that we honor our legends is just fine.
You ended your sentence at the worst time there. Bazza says, do you think that we're playing more backwards, sideways passes this season? We were more forward-thinking and attacking last season and created more chances. We look so much more dangerous. Now, the issue that I have with this is I think there's a number of reasons as to why maybe the perception of what Arsenal have done this season is maybe not as good as last season. I think one of the biggest reasons is that we haven't had a consistent starting 11 all season because of the injuries to Partey, to Jesus, to Martinelli, to Saka. We weren't starting Gabriel at the beginning of the season either. Ramsdale and Raya has changed throughout the season. And I think because of that, there is going to be a lack of fluidity. There is going to be a lack of kind of consistency in the team. But also, I do think there is an element of, and I always use this example with like players that have been out injured. Mesut Ozil had this quite a lot. Partey is going to be experiencing this, although we know the level of Partey's quality and when he's on the field, what he contributes. But it's a case of what you don't have, you always think that it's better. You know, the best players in the team are those that aren't playing, because suddenly it's a case of, well, why don't we play them? And we forget actually, well, when they do play, you know, they're not always the best contributors. And I think that last season, we did still pass sideways, laterally a lot. You know, there was a lot of recycling of the ball. There was a lot of patience in our build-up. But, you know, we think about all the goals that we scored because it was a record-breaking season for 88 goals in the Premier League campaign. And we think, well, why aren't we doing that again this season? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I do think it's kind of, you don't know, you miss what you don't have. You don't know what you got till it's gone.
Yeah.
You know, we're not scoring goals. It's just it's just a bit of a struggle, and I think we're kind of trying to mirror in the opposite what we did last season, and start off kind of we're starting off poorly yet not losing.
No, exactly. Yeah.
By the end of the season, I'm convinced we're gonna.
I mean, City last season started off relatively poorly and won the league with 94 points. Like, it's a case of, and yes, we're tinkering a bit and we're having to change things, but also like we're only 5 goals under what we were at the same point last season. I know 5 goals can be a lot in terms of like, you know, a quarter of the way through the season. By the end of the season, that's 20 less goals across the entire campaign.
After today, we will be level on goals.
Oh, hopefully.
As to where we were.
Hopefully. Yeah. Well, we're tempting fate a little bit, but we'll wait and see. Falcon says, would Napoli take Eddie Nketiah? We can keep our fingers crossed. You know?
Eddie Nketiah is going nowhere this January.
Yeah, no, he's not.
We've heard. He's going nowhere.
Yeah, I mean, I love that you're claiming this is like information. I don't think he will. But
the mics of the world are breaking news right now.
They're breaking news. Paul says, if you could bring in just one player in January, who are you buying and why? I'm going to make it realistic. Who are you going to?
I hate this kind of question.
For me, it's either Yusuf Fofana or Neto. It's one of those two.
I mean, I got to go with Neto just, you know, to move the things along right now. Can I think about this for 10 minutes?
Yeah.
And we'll just show me thinking about it. We're not going to move on to other questions.
Just sit in silence and think about what our answer is.
I would bring in, I would bring in probably Alan Smith.
Yeah. Okay. What, the one from Leeds or the former Arsenal player?
From Leeds. They're really he's someone you could say the Alan Smiths of the world.
The Alan Smiths of this world.
Because there are a lot. Yeah.
I think that does a disservice to Smudge.
I would bring in Alan Smith.
Alan Smith,
yes.
Yeah. I'm sure there must be more than just those two as well, certainly. Maximus says, hey guys, Ollie Watkins or Ivan Toney in January?
I mean, what's the point? Neither one. I mean, I've always been a fan of Ollie Watkins, not as being the best striker in the world, but as being a guy who I think
scores goals.
He scores goals. He doesn't. He's not going to cost 70 million. I'm not.
No, I think he would cost.
You think?
Yeah, I think that because he just signed a brand new deal, so I think Villa would, be asking for that.
Well, and he's not under the radar anymore.
He's 27, 28 now as well. Same age as Tony, same age bracket.
So don't make stars. Okay, we don't. We're not.
Buy them.
We're not. Well, I mean, we can.
Yeah,
we can, but we're not. I just don't know.
I don't see.
I'm not saying we don't need to upgrade on Eddie. I'm just saying I don't know that it has to be Ivan Toney or. I mean, look, Osimhen would be great, but
yeah, of course,
but look, we can sign another Thierry Henry and create Thierry Henry.
I mean, that'd be the ideal scenario: is that you're able to bring in a striker that develops into somebody of that quality. Because I don't think Toney or Watkins is an upgrade on Jesus. Personally, I don't think they're better players than Jesus. I think Jesus is better for the system. I think he's better for Arteta's philosophy. I don't think you're going to score more goals as a group with either one of Toney or Watkins instead of Jesus, because I think that they're different profiles of forward.
Yeah, I love when people are like, "We need a 30 goal season."
We've been saying that.
Okay, but would he have added 30 to the 88 from last season, or would he just have restructured where they're coming from?
We signed Alexandre Lacazette at the idea that he scored, 20 plus, nearly 30 goals in Ligue 1 every season. We were like, right, finally, we've got that player. He didn't progress as past what Olivier Giroud brought to the team. Well, I don't think he was better than him. It was Olivier. Just had to go over.
I still miss it.
I think that's probably, with it being on the border of 30 minutes, a good place to finish today's show. Mike, thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me in my own house.
Indeed, yes. Thank you for having me here and hosting me at this wonderful place.
How was the bed?
Not bad.
Not the same bed that I was on.
No, just want to make that very clear. Very different rooms, different beds. Mike is very happily married. So.
Yes.
Sofa bed was It was not bad. For a sofa bed, I was very happy with it. So
For the hour and a half that you slept in it.
for the 3 hours that I was asleep, it was wonderful. Anyway, thank you everyone that's joined us live in the chat today. Thank you to everyone that's thrown in your questions. If you've got some questions that you'd like to jump into the comment section, I'll try and get around to as many of them as I can throughout the rest of the day or tomorrow. And of course, if you're going to the game a little bit later, I hope you have a fantastic time. If you spot us, say hello. I'll be outside the ground at around 2 hours before kickoff doing some video work. So yeah, I hope that you enjoy it. Mike, again, thank you for coming on.
Thanks for having us. Amazing audience, and and good products.
Indeed, yes. Thank you everybody for listening. We'll see you again soon. Have a great day. Stay safe, stay well, and as always, up the Arsenal.